Hello, welcome back to my channel. I feel really good today because I feel like I accomplished a lot. I woke up early and spent basically the entire day working on the backyard. So, this first photo is what the weather looked like this morning. I thought it was going to rain, and rain was forecast at different times throughout the day, but all we received were a few drops. So that helped me get a lot done without getting rained on. I didn't have to stop and wait for the rain. And the added bonus is that the clouds and the weather cooled things off later in the day, which was nice. This is something I want to share with you. I do not go into my backyard unprotected from pests. I do realize that is a real threat, and West Nile is also a threat. So I use this product called Picaridin. Out of all of the insect repellents I've used, this is the best one, and it lasts for hours and hours, and it's not greasy, and it stays on your skin. So if you're going into an area with a lot of pests or you have mosquitoes, I recommend this one. And that's the back of the uh, container, just to show you. I also use this product. I spray this on my clothing and my socks, just in case. I have seen, over the years, in the years that the yard has become so neglected, so the past few years, I've noticed different animals back there, especially because I have fruit trees. They like to come around when the fruit is ripening. Well, I realize that those animals might have fleas or ticks or something, so I always spray this on my clothes. And this is the last product that I will showcase today. This is what I use to kill volunteer tree saplings and small trees. It works really well. You just get a cheap paintbrush, pour the product full strength into a container. I use an old plastic coffee container, and just brush it on a fresh cut. So as soon as you cut it down on that fresh cut, brush this product on full strength, and it will take care of all those stumps and saplings and unwanted trees and brush that you have. All right, so this was before I started my work. I just want to show you what what I was up against. There's my persimmon tree. It's being obscured by volunteer mulberry trees and hackberry trees. This is just another angle of that same area, and you can see that the growth is really close to the house, and in the background there's a nectarine tree that's too close to the house as well. And this is a broken peach tree branch. This branch grew really long, and it finally broke, and amazingly the branch was still alive. I guess enough of the vascular system was intact for the branch to survive even though it was broken. And here is what is supposed to be the path to my shed. Underneath all of this is crushed granite. Can't see it because this is all catnip. It has just covered this area. So, it's just plants. You don't know what's under there. I will say, though, since I've had catnip in my yard, I haven't seen any snakes. Maybe they don't like the smell. Again, I'm not an expert in that area, but maybe it helps. I'm not seeing any snakes since this is taken over. And that's just another shot to show you the extent of the issue. You can see it, how overgrown it is. And I have been walking through this to get to my gate to take my trash out. And it does cause me a fair bit of anxiety to do that. So I definitely wanted to take care of this today. And here is my Lady Banks rose. If you grow Lady Banks rose, I would love it if you would drop a heart in the comments. I'm sure this is not a strange sight to you if you have not ever grown Lady Banks rose. It grows really well, as you can see. I planted it in this little small container. I bought it at a plant sale put on by a local Master Gardener Association, and I am certain that the roots have gone through the bottom of this planter, and that is how all of this growth is being supported. It is growing all over. And here's the little mistflower that's peeking through the leaves of some catnip that invaded its planter. In the background, you'll see the shape of the mistflower leaves. These are catnip leaves. All right, so there's my pruning saw making an appearance. And this is the area I started in the last video, and this is the area I worked on today. You can see these two large peach tree branches here that I didn't cut down the last time, but these are the ones that I did cut down the last time, and I did apply stump killer to those. And here is an issue I noticed on the peach trees, and I'm glad that I saw it because it does take away some of the guilt of cutting them down. All right, so as I ventured into the fig tree area, I noticed that it's become sort of a graveyard for plastic pots. I'm sure that I'm responsible for this and that the wind blew some there, and I had them stacked up at one point somewhere in the yard, and they just blew into the fig tree, and all these branches caught them and kept them there. All right, so now I've taken the peach down, most of it, and you can see the stumps there, and you can see that I actually made some headway along the fence and chopping some of that fig tree overgrowth back away from the fence. Of course, this does take away the shade canopy that these irises were enjoying, so I'm going to have to decide what to do about those. I might need to move them or put like a little shade cover here. I do have shade cloth. I got to think about that. That's just another shot of the same area. All right, my backyard is hackberry heaven. They're everywhere I look. I swear I cannot look 1 inch in one direction without seeing a hackberry. And this one was growing just right up against the house. So, that needed to be taken care of. And notice some nutsedge growing as well. And so I took the hackberry down, yay. I cut this nectarine tree back and cut off some of this nectarine tree and took out some volunteer hackberries that were growing in here, as well as some other like underbrush. And now you can see my little bird yard decoration there. This was another volunteer. I do not know the name of this tree. If you know the name of this tree, please may you list that in the comments and help us out here, because this is another one that likes to volunteer itself and grow in inconvenient places. So it is obscuring my persimmon tree, which is right there. So I had to take care of that too. This is a close-up shot of the leaves, not leaves. So maybe this close-up shot can help. If you know what this is, please let us know. All right, so again, thought it was going to rain. We had these clouds, but nothing happened. And as I was trimming back the hackberry trees, I rediscovered my garlic chives. So I'm sure they're happy to have a little more room to grow. They look great, even though they were totally covered. They still look good. And this is a little oak tree. Well, it's taller than me, but it's still small enough to cut down easily. I left it because I think on this side of the yard, the north side of the yard, I might isolate down to this oak tree. This yard is on the west side of my house, and it gets really hot in the summer. I need shade back there, but I don't need all this like extra overgrowing of trees. I need just a few really good shade trees. So this is a very beautiful oak tree, and I am a little attached to it, so I might keep it. I didn't cut it down today. All right, so I cleaned up this area here and rediscovered my ajuga right here in this pot. Happy to see it. There was catnip covering it, and here's still some catnip. I just cut it back. And this flower here is artificial from the dollar store. And I just wanted to show you this huge catnip plant that I pulled up. I just wanted to show you how big it is. So really, when you see that overgrowth, it's not a lot of plants. It's just that they get so big and the branches are so long. So this is one single catnip plant that I pulled up by the roots. And in this area here, I pulled out some of the prickly lettuce weeds and rediscovered my stepping stones. It's been so long since I've seen these features in my yard. I really kind of forgot about them and that they were there. So I'm rediscovering a lot of things that were covered by all the plants. So there's my stepping stones that I had placed there myself. These are really these were bags of concrete that I just set there and let them harden naturally, and then when they did, I pulled the paper off. That's how I made these steps. So that's that. And this is a piece of decking that I need to install somewhere. I just have it loose on top of the installed deck. And you can see that right there. They're two different colors. And also rediscovered a shamrock red lantana that amazingly survived and looks healthy. It was obscured by prickly leaf lettuce weed. So there we go. That's the plant tag, lantana, shamrock red, and it does make these beautiful flowers here. All right, this was some sort of mushroom or something I saw growing underneath all the weeds, probably because we've had a lot of rain. And again, another thing that is just quietly growing despite all the chaos is my Esperanza. So there it is, and looking forward to seeing its orange flowers again. All right, made some progress today in clearing overgrowth to make my path around my shed. I'm getting closer, so now we can see a kind of a path to the ladder from this side. This is some of the stuff I cut down. It's a lot stacked up against the side of my house. I did not have time to tie it together today. I tied some things, but not most of it. It's there. It was hot today, and I did a lot, so I just didn't get around to tying these branches up. All right, I finally took down that broken peach tree branch, and there was a little caterpillar living in it right there. And I chopped down that unidentifiable volunteer tree, and this was interesting. In the cross section, it looks like a lady wearing a black dress. I don't know how that mark got inside the tree. If you know, please, leave a comment to help us out, because it's really interesting. It looks like a lady with little wispy hair wearing a black dress and sort of a tan cape or coat or something. It's nature. It's fascinating. And here's a bluebonnet plant that I accidentally pulled up because I didn't know it was there. The seed pods felt flat. I feel like they already dispersed their seeds, but I just tossed them back in the yard anyway. And here's the grapevine along the western fence. I have grapevines growing in 3 different locations in the yard. And you can see the grapes. Got plenty of them growing throughout the grapevine. There's more grapes right there. And that's my rue plant that, again, just happily growing behind all of the weeds and just doing its thing despite the chaos again. This is another oak tree that's growing on the south side of the yard. And I might keep this one too, because if I have this oak tree over here, then the other oak tree on the other side of the yard, maybe they can make a shade canopy. That would be nice, and that would be two very good trees. So, thinking about that. I didn't cut it down. And next to the oak tree is this mulberry tree that is coming down. It didn't come down today, but that is going to come down very soon. And since I cut all the weeds down, or at least cut them down enough to where I felt safe navigating this far into the yard, I was able to make contact with my raised bed that I built and never finished. And unfortunately, it is full of hedge parsley that has gone to seed. So that's all the hedge parsley there. Close up of the hedge parsley seeds, and these seeds stick to your clothing and stick to your skin and your hair and everything. And there they are all over my white t-shirt. So this is what I accomplished looking sort of towards the south. I took down, at least I got the flower heads off of these prickly leaf lettuce weeds, and I pulled some of them up. This is a drier part of the yard, so they didn't pull up from the roots as easily as they did in other parts of the yard, but that's okay. I will destroy them sooner or later. I did get the flower heads taken down. There are some in the back I didn't get. And this is looking east from the west, and there's the salvia that I kept. And oh, I'm sorry, this is not looking east. This is actually looking south. Sorry about that. I just want to show you that in this little area of the yard, trees love to grow. There's probably 5 different types of trees growing in here. There's like a pecan tree, peach tree, mulberry tree, golden rain tree, live oak tree. So it's got a lot going on. This is what I think is the pecan tree growing underneath the other trees. It's very beautiful and healthy. I don't know for sure if it's a pecan tree or not. If whatever it is, if it's a pecan tree, it cannot be this close to my house. It has to go. There's a little blackberry staring at us, peeking at us from behind one of the leaves. There's some blackberries. I have blackberries growing throughout the yard. I didn't harvest any because I don't know what's nibbling on them. I don't want to get sick. If it's a rodent, I definitely don't want these. So I don't know what's eating them. Some of them had looked like something had nibbled on them. So I just left them there. And more blackberries. All right, here is my persimmon tree. It's finally free. Free to have air, light, and live and spread out and grow in a natural form and not obscured by volunteers and weeds. So these were the working conditions today. Started off around 6 o'clock this morning at 79 degrees. And you can see here, it feels like 85. It was very humid. Again, thunderstorms were forecast. We didn't get those. And then it got up to 82 degrees, feels like 89. Then we got up to the 90s. It says feels like 100. It was pretty hot. I think I might have a light sunburn on my arms. They were burning. But again, no thunderstorms. At least not where I live. Maybe some other parts of town received those. And it got down to 86 in the evening. Well, in the early evening, which was nice. And there's a daylily that a friend gave me. Thought it would be a nice image to end the narration on, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop talking and attach the video footage of today with the sounds of nature and just footage of me walking around the yard and showing you things that I discovered and things that I did. You might hear something that has sort of an industrial sounding hum in the background. That's my neighbor's very loud HVAC unit. They didn't install it. They're nice people. They are renting, and the owners of the house installed that. And maybe they didn't know it would be that loud, but it's very loud. You might, if you hear a noise in the background, that's probably what it is. So, on that note, thank you for joining me and watching this video and listening to me talk for all this time. I do appreciate you very much taking this journey with me, and I'll just keep making progress. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back soon. Thank you. Bye bye.